Thanks for inviting me to read. I always wanted to be up here, but I thought I'd have to write a book first. I had literally marked my calendar that day with a big X. I needed the day off of everything to rest and renew. The weather was sweltering as I lay down on the upstairs bed, hoping that the unusually hot, un-Santa Cruzian area weather would not prevent me from napping. The time was just after 5 p.m. And then right there in my Aptos condominium, the earth shook like crazy. There I was in the epicenter town of the whole San Francisco Bay Area's 1989's most memorable event. Within that week that we who lived here will never forget, the flurry of calls to and from friends and loved ones was the first order of business, along with the details of getting things in functional order. But in those first days, I also wanted to know, before any other business I thought of, that Capitola Book Cafe was okay. It was that dear to me. My palpable passion for the book cafe was part of my love of the written word, beginning in a time when we all actually read books and magazines instead of the internet. As a part of that love, I had attended at that time easily dozens of remarkable author events, with the kind of literary stars that bigger venues only dream of. I won't forget one of the first after I moved here, when I saw a new local author named Janine Roth read to about 10 of us out of her first book. That was years before she made the top of the New York Times bestseller list and had her regular Oprah appearances. The number of big name and smaller name authors who I have seen here and who have moved me deeply to laughter, tears, inspiration, or action is so vast, I cannot name more than a few. I think the most crowded one I ever attended was one by poet Gary Snyder. I ran into a friend at the event who had been waiting for an hour in the store before the chairs were set up. She was fuming as the seats went so fast that she didn't even get one. And yet, there was a tiny crowd for Brazil's most famous author, Paulo Coelho. I hope I said his name right. As I went up to get his autograph, I was struck by this famous man's extreme shyness and a discernible air of self-consciousness. When it comes to the long list I've seen, when I think of who is my favorite, it always seems to be the one I just saw this last time. One of my most memorable evenings at the book cafe was when my mother-in-law, a MacArthur Award-winning author from New York, came to do a reading. Not only did my husband's and my friends come out that night, but there was a standing room only crowd of people I'd never met. When my friends came to greet me afterwards, I will never forget how several of them told me in odd voices how impressed they were with the eloquence and inspiration of her talk. While I bought many books after seeing authors speak here, I freely admit that I did not buy every book from every talk I went to. Sometimes I would get our library to order one I might particularly want to read, but not own. However, I never left a talk and then went home to buy one on Amazon. I have watched my beloved Capitola Book Cafe have to downsize its inventory and upsize its other offerings such as Wi-Fi and good food, and it's been hard to see it struggle. I've done what I could with a meager membership and trying to think of ideas, I had none, for survival and thrival. I just hope that we will all keep turning up here, buying books, and finding ways of making this place and other independent bookstores viable as our world changes and shifts. I celebrate this place.